Hello everybody, welcome back. I think I've made a direct connection between what once was Indianola, Texas, before hurricanes wiped it out, and Quartzsite, Arizona. Indianola, Texas is just down the coast here from me. It was down that way about a mile and a half. We're gonna run down there and actually start the timeline and work our way back up to here. Now, this has to do with the Great Camel Experiment. Had to deal with the Army, the US Army. I believe this is a depiction of no other than High Jolly. Okay, some of you that know a little bit about Quartzsite or have been there know about the High Jolly tomb, where he is laid to rest. And he was a camel driver. He was from Syria. He immigrated to America in, I think, 1854 or 1856, somewhere thereabouts. Well, his tomb reads 1856. So I have been by his tomb when I was out in Quartzsite. We've been out there the last 6 years. We've traveled out there. I am aware. I have visited. His tomb reads, "The last camp of High Jolly. Born somewhere in Syria about 1828, died at Quartzsite December 16th, 1902, which happens to be, to the day, 60 years before I was born to the day. Came to this country February 10th, 1856. He's a camel driver, packer, scout, over 30 years of faithful aid to the US government." So I think this is where he came in at. He came to Indianola, got off the boat, and this is where he arrived to America at. Now, it doesn't say, any of the historical markers around here doesn't mention High Jolly by name or his alias. Actually, High Jolly is his alias. His name was something like, it wasn't Muhammad, okay? His last name was Ali, or Ali. Something Ali. Yeah, it wasn't Muhammad Ali, right? It was something else Ali. But he had some other alias which sounded Spanish, but I guess his name was Americanized to High Jolly. Now, how you get High Jolly out of whatever it was Ali, your guess is as good as mine. But he was a camel driver. So 2 years to keep in mind are 1856 and 1857. Somewhere in that time frame. We're going to go down the coast here, and there's a couple other monuments that kind of helps paint the picture of the times, of how busy this area was as far as you know, ships and hauling it, the commerce, and that this was a busy place at one time. Okay, there's two monuments here. There's one there, and I think that is like a cornerstone of an old courthouse. I think we'll have to verify that. And there's another one right up here. I'm not sure they're both related to the point we're gonna make here, or try to figure out. Let's go have a look. Okay, we have two markers here, and I think I'll start with this one here. The town is gone. There's a couple of residents in the area, a couple of beach houses and everything, but the town is kind of there's no town here anymore. How's that? In this marker here, it says that the site of the town of Indianola from 1844 to 1886. So they give up on it. It was abandoned in 1886, and here's why. Down here, let's not jump ahead. First called by German immigrants, Karlshaven, an important part of Texas. Cargoes of ships were hauled to and from points in Texas and Mexico by carts until 1860. Okay, keep in mind that's up until 1860. So the pulling wagons and by horse or donkey or camels was still the way to go up until 1860, when the San Antonio and Mexican Gulf Railroad and the Indianola Railroad were completed to Victoria, Texas. The town was partially destroyed with great loss of life by a hurricane, September 17, 1875. So, you know, after all that, it was a busy place. All this was going on. Years later, in 1875, it was rebuilt by but completely destroyed by another hurricane in 1886. And that's it. They abandoned it. They gave up. They must have said, this place, the weather's too crazy. What was that? 11 years difference. 1875, they rebuilt. 11 years later, a bad one came through and you know, completely destroyed it. So that's why the town's not here. Now this other plaque, and I'll take pictures of these and post them. You can hit pause, okay, and read that in its entirety. Maybe a little slower than I did. Pause the video now if you'd like to read this in its entirety. This here talks a lot about the path and goods, everything, what the path was used for. But then down in here, it mentions again about the hurricane and the railroads replaced the trails. What did I want to take from this here? Yeah, the trail played a dominant role in moving items of commerce, travelers, and military supplies. Okay, that's a useful fact there, and personnel through this part of North America. So, okay, let's keep that in mind. So if you missed that, you know, just rewind the video a little bit, and when it plays, hit the pause button, and you can read that. There's should I just get to the point? Should I just go ahead and spoil it? Well, no, I'm not gonna put my seatbelt on. We're just going across the street. I don't want to spoil it yet, because actually I might misspeak. I want to kind of pick up a couple of clues as we go. We'll kind of figure it out together. Oh, I stalled it out. Happens once in a while. Now, this is going to be extremely hard to read because of the contrast and the colors of the stone. But this was I think it's Calhoun County Courthouse. Edward Beaumont, architect, in 1850, I think it says. During the storms of 1875 and 1886, precious lives were saved within its walls of shell, let's say concrete and lime, abandoned in 1886. So I guess this was what was left of the courthouse. Must have been like a cornerstone or some foundation stone. Beautiful, it's a beautiful stone, but I guess people gathered for protection in the courthouse. Okay, so I thought that would give us a little bit more clue. All right, let's go up the road and let's connect the dots. Okay, here is a statue, a monument to LaSalle. I want to stay on point here. I don't want to get into off track to other history and stuff. I want to mention this monument here, and this is just to further kind of demonstrate the years. You know, this was a busy place back in the day, dedicated to the German pioneers who traveled along the Guadalupe River in 1845 to settle the Texas Hill Country. So, and this is what I didn't realize this here, but San Antonio is right by New Braunfels. New Braunfels is to the northeast of San Antonio. Be there. New Braunfels. The Guadalupe River runs down through Seguin and Gonzales, however you say that, all the way down here to Victoria. Remember, that's where the railroad was built. That's about 30 miles inland from Indianola, and then the Guadalupe flowed out to here somewhere into the bay. So. And the other monument just speaks more to that, you know, just shows that this was a busy area at that time. You know, High Jolly just didn't wander up here and, you know, onto some bare beach. You know, this was a very, very happening place till the hurricanes ruined it. So it was supposed to be the second, I think the port activity and traffic and commerce and everything that went on place was only second to Galveston at that time. So this was a port of entry. Indianola Indianola, Texas. This marker is in memory of the immigrants from Silesia, a region of modern-day Poland, who came through this port and settled in Texas from the 1850s through the 1870s. So there's that window of time, 1850s through 1870s. Yeah, it just goes to show this was a popular happening place. Okay, we're back here. This is the important one here, and I'm probably gonna have to take a snapshot of it and enhance it and for readability. Yeah, no immigrants were quite as exotic as the 75 camels that came ashore in 1856 and 1857 from Algeria, Tunisia, Egypt, and Turkey. There's that Tunisia. As early as 1836, politicians, diplomats, and the military were considering the importation of camels for use in North America's desert wastelands. In 1853, Secretary of War Jefferson Davis, a man familiar with harsh desert conditions, proposed to Congress the use of camels as pack animals in the desert Southwest. Congress approved the request on March 3rd, 1855. After a 3-month voyage from the Mediterranean, the Fashion entered Matagorda Bay on May 13th, 1856, and landed the camels at the wharf at Powder Horn. 34 camels ranging from Bactrians, the 2-hump variety, and Arabians, the 1-hump variety, and a hybrid cross between the two came ashore. Many residents of Indianola recalled the unusual sight of the camels being led through the streets. By February 1857, a second government shipment of 41 camels arrived in Indianola. Military camel caravans carrying supplies became more common in the Texas Hill Country between the camels' home of Camp Verde and San Antonio. The camels, along with traditional livestock, were used in the summer of 1857 to survey the Great Wagon Road between Arizona and California, now known as Route 66. The camels were also used in 1859 and 1860 for reconnaissance in West Texas. Surveying routes to the US-Mexico border in 1861. Upon the outbreak of the Civil War, all US military assets, including the camels, came into possession of the Confederate troops, and after the war, the camels were auctioned off. So, all that, the High Jolly, right, according to his tomb, he came to America in 1856. All this is happening in 1856, 1857. It stands to reason High Jolly came here in Texas, the Indianola port of entry, along with the camels, and went out to Quartzsite and died eventually. I just found that really interesting, having been out to Quartzsite, having come across this, finding out that camels were used out there for a while and reading that history, kind of, you know, it just matches up. It just matches up. And finding the connection here, you know, 2 miles down the coast of where we're camping at, Magnolia Beach, I guess where we're at. It was just fascinating. Like, I have to go down there and make that connection. So, all right, we're gonna get on our way. We got other things to do today. Now, phew. So now what? Up the shore further, I have to run into town. There may be some additional. I'll have to look again. It may be related, it may not be. I think there's some other historical things up there I might want to stop at. I do have to run up to town again because I'm ashamed to admit I forgot to get dog food when I was up there. And she's not out yet, but we're getting like dangerously low. I forgot it's low on bread, so, you know, I'm going to do a town run and grab a couple things. So we'll see. If even if I have time, if we can squeeze in a little bit more here, we will. If not, this will be a short video and we'll just like end it here. Alright?
In 800 feet, turn right onto North Virginia Street.
Well, there's an old theater, Port Lavaca Theater. Yeah, I'm sure this is old main, well, whatever it's called, but to me it's a main street. You know, it's pretty boarded up buildings and stuff, and you know, it's just so typical across the country. It's not, I never, when I do these, I never mean to, you know, call out any one town, single them out and say, well, look at this old rundown town. You know, so many old towns across the country. Old hardware store, I'm sure there's a barber shop in here. Actually, that's one of the few things that do seem to survive. Look, speaking of which, there's a barber shop sign out front. Maybe a few restaurants, thrift stores. Yeah, the Green Chili. Oh, that might be
right onto North
the
Virginia
Green
Street.
something. I don't know how to pronounce that, but they're open. But you get the idea. You know, I'll tell you what. When shopping malls came around, when did shopping malls even start? In the 50s or 60s. I mean, when malls came along, a lot of downtown suffered. And then you add to that as more decades pass, and big stores like Walmart come along. And then internet shopping, and you know, these little towns, the old way of shopping just, you know, suffered, to put it simply. And I shouldn't single out Walmart, you know, as those big box stores. You know, look,
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Texas
remember the little mom and pop appliance stores in downtowns that, you know, major appliance centers like, you know, Sears, it's got, you know, and big home improvements, Lowe's, Home Depot, Best Buy, all the little electronic stores, you know. So
Turn right onto Texas
it's
35
certainly
north.
not limited to Walmart. Shopping malls and then the big stores. Little downtowns, just, yeah. Now, if you'll excuse me for a minute, I'm going to go cancel my service with AT&T. Yeah, T-Mobile's working out like really well. I'm happy. So we're gonna, that's it. I'm gonna say after probably 15 years, probably, gonna say goodbye to AT&T today. There's a place called the Lighthouse Cafe. I think we have time for one more stop. You know, I just have some things to do today. Just thought making a quick video.
In a quarter mile, turn right
Oh, there. Oh, good. It's nice and handy up here. This won't take long at all. Now, just gonna, where do you see this thing up here? Hang on, let me find some parking. Actually, my map was, my point of interest was pinned up there further. I thought this sat up there at the, kind of like the point where the bridge goes across the bay. But this is what I really have my eye on, so pretty handy. I don't know if we can go in or not. We're gonna take a walk around. But here's what I figured, from what I can tell on from my little bit of research online, is this is this top piece. I don't know about the building, but the smaller, I think it's the octagon. Is it 8-sided or 6-sided? I think it's 8. Yeah, I think it's 8-sided. So I think it was just the smaller octagon up here, and then the top of the lighthouse. I think that used to sit way up on a, you know, up on a bigger. That lighthouse might have got wiped out. I don't know. Maybe a part of it was saved. I don't know what why it's not up there anymore, but it's not. It's down here now. So I think the building. I don't think the entire thing may have been up, because, you know, lighthouses don't seem all that big some of them until you get up close, and it's quite, you know, they can be quite a big structure. This whole thing may have been up on a structure. I don't know. So I don't know if it's really open to the public to go in. It is here at the county or local community center. Wow, it's air conditioned. It's got a big old air conditioner in it. Maybe there's certain hours. Oh, there's a little information board over here, probably a historical marker. Check out that bell. And a little bell beside it. So, oh, that's right, I did see this too. It's called the Half Moon Reef Lighthouse. Huh. Yeah, constructed in 1858. This 3-story hexagonal lighthouse was originally located in Matagorda Bay. I think Matagorda Bay is actually on the other side of the bridge, if I'm not mistaken. But it goes on. Maybe you can pause that for a minute. Yeah, there's some Civil War history there. So this might wrap up. There's Port Lavaca Police. Oh, 2 of them. This might wrap up this video and maybe this entire series here in Port Lavaca area. We may be on the way out. I mean, I'm not certain about that yet. Maybe on the way out we might stop up here again. I might get back to the RV where Bella's at and do a little more research of the area, see what else I can find. It's nice if I know at least a couple of things about, you know, some things are just spontaneous, you just happen across them, and but you know, it's nice if you come across it in your research and you can at least get a little bit of the story down, some of the facts straight, or just speculate and make some assumptions and some guesses and let it fly. So this is called the Lighthouse Beach RV Park and Bird Sanctuary. I don't know if there's no dogs allowed on the beach. Okay, for questions and reservations. All right, doesn't look like there's a day use area or a day use fee. I thought, with that booth being there, I thought maybe we'd have to pay. I bet this particular RV park is a little pricey, just based on its location. Kind of here at the point, and you know, town's right behind us, with all the big stores and stuff, and restaurants and stuff. So, based on convenience, it's a pretty nice park. But, yeah, I'm sure it's priced accordingly. So I guess all these spaces here too are, I mean, they're all empty, but they all have, you know, a concrete pad, a little, like some shelter, a picnic table, power, and water. So but every one of them's empty. A little windy here, but we're out at the point. There's the beginning of the bridge. Goes out across to over across the bay. Got some restrooms up here. That pier goes out there quite a ways. And that's it. That's about all we have up here. This is a pretty nice campground, you know, for, I mean, there's not much room between your neighbors at all. Do you see the one back there? How close? Let's see. See how much room's in between? It's one of your slide out doesn't come out and hit the neighbor's picnic table. Yeah, I mean, but for a small park, at least it has some trees. Yeah, I just can't imagine. I mean, unless you work in the area, you just use it like an apartment or a like an efficiency apartment or something. Wow, look, you know, yeah, no, I'm not interested. There's no room for a picnic table there. There's no room for they got one squeezed in there. Yeah, it's like, no, I would never stay at a place like this. Yeah, unless I was working, you know, got some kind of gig or something temporarily, and you know, just convenient and you know, it'd have to be work related.